Let's see, Jensen.
Mom said, clean up your room.
Good. Mom said, clean up your room. Direct quotation. What's another one? Mason?
Dad said, clean the car.
No, that's not. If you said, Dad said, clean the car, that's direct quotation.
If you add two, then
Okay.
it's not.
Yeah. If it's talking about the words they say, then it's not. It's indirect. Marissa.
Dad said, clean the garage.
Good.
Jojo said to vacuum the steps.
Okay. No, Jojo said, go vacuum the steps.
Oh.
Has to be exact words. Exactly what he said. Yes.
John Cena said, go to the bathroom.
Let's be appropriate, please. Brayden.
Mom said, go on the toilet.
Good. Logan.
Mom said that.
No, not that.
You can't add that.
Then it's indirect.
I did
Mom said. What?
that.
Nope.
Dad said Sophie was his favorite child.
No. Dad said Sophie is my favorite child. That's what. If it's direct, that's what it would say.
She's a
Okay.
doll.
But if you're talking about the words, it's indirect.
Was my sentence
Jana.
Mom said comb your hair.
Good. Jacob.
Mom said 7 million people live on the earth.
Okay. Then
Whale said die. Wow.
Micah.
The duck said give me some bread.
Can always rely on Micah for a funny sentence. Okay, Autumn.
Mom said go to the hospital.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Mom said give the dogs to the doctor.
Good. All right, if you already did one, let's just do one. Did you do one already? You did one already. Okay, so good. Now, remember that a direct quotation is the person's exact words. It's him or her, or it, saying those exact words. Right, Micah? Right. And what do we put before and after a direct quotation? So let's say, okay, we'll use Micah's silly sentence. The duck said,
Give me bread.
Oh.
Give me some bread.
give
Me
me
bread.
some bread. Oh, I spelled bread wrong. It's a lot harder to write on this.
Bread?
Now, of course, we would hear it in quack, 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 quack. But the duck's really saying, give me some bread.
The duck, give me some bread. The duck, give me some bread.
All right.
You erased your G. Yeah. It looks like that.
So, raise your hand. Who can tell me what I need to add to this sentence? Marissa. Very good. So, quotation marks and quotation marks. Notice the end quotation mark. Since my direct quotation's at the end of a sentence, eyes up here, it goes after the period. And also, close your book. It's the same every day. Put a comma right before a quotation mark. Another thing is that, do you notice that that's one sentence, right? The duck said, give me some bread. So why do I have a capital letter at the beginning of my quotation? Micah?
Capitalize the first letter of what, of direct quotation.
Yes. It's almost like a separate sentence, but you're adding it into the other sentence. So you need to remember to capitalize the first letter of your direct quotation, the first word. Autumn, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do our language page on page 64. Turn to page 64, and then I have a little quiz for you to take. So pay attention. Now, how could I turn that sentence into an indirect quotation? Jana? Right. The duck said to give him some bread. So it talks about the words he said, but they weren't the exact words that he said. All right. For Think A on page 64, we're going to use proofreader's marks to insert quotation marks around the direct quotation in each sentence. All right, number 1. Mother said, I have invited Mrs. Andrews to dinner tonight. So, Jacob, can you tell me where should we insert? It's already done, isn't it? Did they already do number 1?
Yeah.
All right, so they gave that one to you. So notice it's before I and after tonight. Number 2, Madison replied, I will be glad to set the table for you. All right, Jacob.
Then, after Madison replied, put quotation marks. Insert them, and then after the period at the end.
Yes. So remember, we're inserting. So before the word I, insert quotation marks, and at the end of your sentence, insert at the end. Okay. Number 3, may we use the good dishes? Asked Natalie. Alex.
I think you need to delete the question mark.
No, actually, it's her direct quotation was a question, so it needs a question mark.
Okay, so you want to put one before May and after the question mark.
Good, very good. So insert quotation marks before May. Everybody's filling these in, right? Before May, and then after the question mark. Remember, it's a sentence within a sentence. So if the person is asking a question, it needs a question mark. Now, you don't put a period in the middle of your sentence, though. Instead, you put a comma. So if it was we will use the good dishes, said Natalie. Okay, I ran out of room. Said Natalie. So we will use the good dishes, comma, quotation marks. Okay, you don't put a period right here. That's a no-no. Comma. All right, number 4. What a beautiful table, exclaimed Mrs. Andrews. Autumn?
Insert quotation marks for what, and insert quotation marks after the exclamation.
Very good. Before what and after the exclamation point. And then number 5, she gasped, this looks like a Thanksgiving feast. Braden.
After or before this and after feast.
Good. So before this and after the exclamation point at the end. Do you see see how these are all direct quotations? It's so-and-so said, or so-and-so remarked, or so-and-so asked, and then the exact words that they say. All right, think B. Use proofreader's marks to mark capitalization. Number 1, Matthew asked, who is the new boy in the last row? So we have to have Matthew do that. What word are we going to capitalize? No. Remember what we did? Remember up here? What we have to capitalize?
W.
Yes, the W in who. Because that's the first word of the direct quotation. So you're going to draw 3 lines underneath the W. Number 2, I don't know him, replied Joshua. Lucas.
Capitalize I.
Right. Capitalize the I.
Did we? What should we capitalize now?
The W in who. Number 3, Matthew suggested, let's go meet him. Dylan.
Capitalize the H and I. Wait.
No, we're on number 3.
Oh.
Same rule as what we did up here.
Capitalize the H.
No. Remember, we capitalized the first word of a direct quotation. So what's the first word in that quotation? Matthew suggested, let's go meet him.
Let's.
Yes. Capitalize the L in let's. Number 4, hi, my name is Matthew, he told the new boy. Logan?
Capitalize the H and I.
Yes.
And the H.
No, you don't need to do the other H. Number 5, the Bible says, a man that hath friends must show himself friendly. Jed.
A is capitalized.
Okay, capitalize A.
Capitalize A.
Any more?
No.
Brayden?
The T.
Yes, the T in the. So it's the first word of the sentence and the first word in the direct quotation. All right. Proof C. In the blank, identify the kind of error by writing capital or quotation marks. And then the second part is to use proofreader's marks to correct each error. So number 1, what a fun vacation we had, Justin told Macy. Noah, what's wrong with that sentence? Is it quotation marks or capitalization that's wrong?
Quotation.
Yes. The quotation marks are wrong. So in the blank, write quotation marks. You went ahead. Hope you got the answer right. It's in the directions. Okay, so where are they wrong? No. Well, Noah, do you know? They already have that one there, right? That one's right. Well, that's the same as after had. Okay, that one's correct. The one after had, but where is it wrong? Because according to this, it's saying that Justin told Macy are the words that he said.
Before what?
Yeah, you have to put them before what, and then delete the quotation marks at the end. So how do you delete? Remember? Do this little thingy. Okay, so you delete the one at the end, and then you need to insert quotation marks at the beginning of the sentence. Because the actual words that he said were, what a fun vacation we had. So those get quotation marks. Number 2, he said, my family and I visited historical places in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jana.
Capitalized M and my.
Yes. So capital is wrong. So in the blank, write capital. And then underline the M in my.
Capitalized S and G.
And then number 3, Macy said that she saw the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Jensen?
Capital?
Er,
Capitalization? Wait, then it has to be quotation.
yeah, it's why are the quotation marks wrong?
There's not supposed to be quotation.
Right, it's not a direct quotation, right?
Indirect.
Yeah, it's indirect. Macy said that she saw the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. It's just talking about the words that she said. So you need to delete the quotation marks. All right, does everyone have the answer so far?
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone understanding?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember D. We are going to draw a dividing line between the subject and predicate parts of the sentence, underline the verb twice, and underline the subject once. So, let's see. Tell you what, let's do popsicle sticks. Some of you want to be called on 5 times and other people don't want to be called on any. So we'll just do it this way. Marissa, can you read number 1 for us and tell us where to draw all the lines?
Capybaras prefer habitats near lakes and rivers.
Okay.
After capybaras,
All right, so draw your line there. What about prefer? Prefer is the verb. And what's the subject?
capybaras.
Yes. So it should be like this. What is the verb again? Prefer. Okay. Number 2 is Noah.
After years.
Yes. Draw your line after ears. And what's your verb? What's the verb? Are. Yes. Are is the verb, and what's the subject? Ears. Okay, I'm not going to write everything on the board. You guys should be able to underline your verb twice without me having to write it on the board. Is everybody getting the subject, verb, and everything? Okay. Number 3 is going to be Jensen.
The capybara, they're after capybara,
Mm-hmm.
and then the predicate is here. Or no,
The
that's
verb.
yeah, the
Okay,
verb
that's
is
part of it. If there's a verb phrase.
tenure.
can here is the verb phrase. Right. Capybara is the subject and can here is the verb. All right, Dylan, number 4.
Its eyes and nostrils are also found near the top of its head.
Mm-hmm.
After nostrils?
Yes.
The subject is nostrils and
What's the verb?
is found.
That's part of the verb. What's the other part? There's a verb. It's a verb phrase.
Also.
No, not also, but near there. Look at your helping verbs.
Is it are?
Yes, are found. Not also. Don't underline also.
Also
Just
does
are found. And then what is the subject? Dylan.
the subject is
Nostrils and what?
eyes.
Eyes. But not the word and. Just eyes, nostrils. That's your subject. So you would diagram that sentence like this. Eyes, nostrils, are, is it found? Are found. Okay. And then number 5 is Lucas.
After senses.
No. Actually, that little phrase there, because of its good senses, that's just an extra little phrase. It's not really part of the.
Because.
Mm-mm. No, it's just an extra phrase in there, but it's not part of your subject or verb. Tell you what, what's the verb? Okay, but there's a phrase with that. Can escape is your verb. So who or what can escape? Yes, capybara. So draw your line after capybara. Can escape is your verb. And capybara is your subject. Everybody got it? Can, and yeah, you don't write the word often. Just can and escape. Okay, hopefully everyone got those filled in, okay? Alright, what I want you to, and you can actually use your book if you need to for your quiz, the open book quiz. So what we're going to do is you're going to put a check mark by each sentence that contains a direct quotation. Alright? Alright, well, I'll come around and check homework in a second. Okay? So, check mark next to direct quotation. And at the bottom, you're going to diagram these two sentences. You're going to mark the sentence and then diagram each subject and verb. Just like here. Okay, if you have one subject and one verb, your subject goes here, your verb goes here. There's one sentence where you're going gonna have one of these. Okay, you have a compound subject. All right, and then let me just, we're gonna have questions with this, I know. Number 7 is a question. Have you heard of sea glass? So, how are you gonna diagram that? What's the best way to find the subject and verb? If you, well, don't tell me the answer. Change it around so that it's a declarative sentence. So instead of thinking of it as being, have you heard of sea glass, think of it as, you have heard of sea glass. Okay? Then that'll give you help you find your subject and verb. Alright, so I'm going to pass these out. You can use your book if you have questions. Oh, on the back. Whoops. Okay, this one has 2 verbs. So then you're going to need, whoops. Alright, so you're going to need this one, and this one. The diagram. Alright, do you have any questions?